Look, I love Instagram.
Yes,
Look,
connect.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not as
Oh, well,
savvy.
yeah, here we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Yes, well, good afternoon, good evening in some parts. Welcome everyone for our Thriving Thursday Live. And so we are back again this evening, and we have our special guest again today. That's Racynta. And she says she got some good news for us.
Look, I don't know, Larry. Like, life be lifing, and then I just have to go back. You know, you and I, we always talk about how hard worked, how we done served so much and helped so much, and we're like, okay, it got to be a higher calling. We doing it, and the only thing I can tell you, I just left Operation Hope, and it was.
Okay, with
I
John
did.
Bryant, John Hope Bryant.
Yes, do
Yes.
you know him? You know everybody, so tell me.
Well, I met John back when I may have been still on active duty. And
Mhm.
so maybe I was on active duty or just not getting into the housing counseling. And so I was trying to see what some of the things I could do in the community. And, different leaders, from some of the financial institutions were saying, I've heard of John. Do you know about John Hope Bryant? I said, no, not, I sort of heard the name, but I never met the person. And so they let me know that he was actually doing financial literacy. So it's been around for a while. He's not new to this. And so he
25
actually,
years.
yes, yes. And so I met him in person there at one of the junior high schools in DC, where he put on a whole day of financial literacy for junior high and invited the financial institution into the classroom to come out to the school. So I had a chance to meet him in person, but that's been a number of years.
Look,
Definitely over 15 years ago.
yeah, but see, I've been, I'm one of those, and I realize now, even when I left there, and I got a seat at the table. I'll just tell you that, and I'll tell you about that too, because it's dealing with home ownership and all the things that's going on in our economy. But and I got to get the information out there. And even if you have colleagues, I can actually send this business plan, because this business plan is to help where everybody's suffering right now. And he
Uh-huh.
educated 50 people. I was one of those 50 at that table. And I've never been to his annual conference. I was there on scholarship. So I guess
Yes.
the scholarship part, whatever I written, it got me in the door and at the table with the special session. And it's a session that's throughout the legacy of the King Foundation, Martin Luther King legacy. So they picked his brain when they released those transcripts to figure out what was he thinking. And we didn't cover everything that he talked about. Now we need those transcripts in order to go and figure out why our economy is going to here. And with that, they took and picked the transcripts and did all this, and they realized the last layer was the business and the kids, and they didn't do that blueprint from there. So now that's why we have this big old gap. Everybody was talking about education. We're going to go, we put the empowerment in education, the dream. So now we got to go back and add that financial part, the home ownership part that our grandmothers and your mom put in us, and my mom.
Yes. 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 That's amazing for to be there and
Yes.
to be a part of it. It's and of course we've been in the room, but when you get a chance to be at the table, that's
Oh my God, what are you doing? I was really there, like in tears. And then when I got the email, Larry, you know me, I'm always you're texting me, Racynta, are you coming? Like, you making sure 2 minutes before, right?
yes.
And I just tell you, I actually got the invite for a special session, and I'm there asking because it's 5K a ticket, by the way, right? So I'm on there on scholarship. With some people pay half, they got
Right.
different things. Some was on scholarship. You can actually write things about your pivot points, the pain points,
Right.
give you a ticket. So anyway, wind up asked so many people, and they said, no, we didn't get one of those. And I'm like, this got to be something. Maybe it's a bootleg ticket. I'm not understanding what this special session, because how did I get this special session with Bernice King, Emory Hospital, all these big executives, John, and all of them. Long story short, Wednesday comes, it's supposed to be there 8 o'clock. And guess what, Larry? I left my daughter's house 2 hours ahead of time, making sure I got there on time. And I was there an hour ahead of time, making
Hmm.
sure my name was on the list. And it was, because the top was Abdullah. And so lady said, well, yeah, you're on the list, but did you go to the conference in April? Because this is what this meeting is about, the forum that was in April. I said, no, but you said my name is on the list. What does that matter? It's just like, well,
Right.
you're going to have to sit not at the conference table, but at the out table because it's 50 of you guys. I don't know how you're going to get in that small room. I don't know what John's doing, but y'all delegation is 50 and I don't know. And then the other two ladies had came an hour ahead like me because they wanted to make sure that they was on the list. And it was their first time. And I said, well, it doesn't matter. I don't care as long as I'm in the room. I don't know what you guys are doing. I just want to be a part of it. I love it. I've never even I've been following him for 2 years, trying to understand this economic thing. And I pretty much mapped it and understand what's going on. That's why I started these different transformation on communication during chaos. That's where that came from. Transforming what we're on right now, Larry, you guys. We're on transforming chaos into clarity, right? In
Right.
elevation, in communication, in systems. Well, that's what that meeting was about. In a nutshell, they're implementing and pumping about 800 million into trainings and to people and businesses to restructure and to serve the communities like you've been doing for 20 years. So the business plan is for me to share with about 100 people and then get feedback by Tuesday and report back to John and the team and say, did we cover all aspects? Where could, and then we're going to implement that plan. They're going to first coach me into all the delegates into where we need to be at business wise, structure wise, and we're going to go and be the babies on the olive branch and reforming our communities. So, and I was in tears almost in there. I'm not going to lie, because I'm like, what? God, you told me to go and help with people. You just told me to get on the screen with Larry and other people now. You didn't tell me this type of multitude. But anyway, it's crazy, but we see where the gap lies. And people like Larry and I, you guys, have been helping and serving so many years. And we think sometimes that serving is in vain. And it's not. It's just preparing us for sometimes that next level and to gain insight to be a helper of other people that don't know. So for me to be at that table, I just tell you, like John said, some of y'all on scholarship, they don't have anything about that. You're geniuses. Not only you're geniuses, you didn't know. That's why you went through those areas of your life, and we're here to teach and guide you so you can be a replica in your community and also build it up.
Yes.
So it was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes, that is amazing.
Financial, you guys. So we're on financial. That's what it was about. We're the blueprint. The blueprint is about blueprint. Well, it's a business plan based upon Martin Luther King legacy, but it's gonna go into the communities to help STEM program with the kids to whip them on financial literacy, home ownership, AI, computers, get them, and they are already putting the layers in the system. It's already a little bit there, but not all the way in there. And so delegates like me and the other 49 people, we're going to oversee the project and just basically making sure though every area, like me, I'm going to focus on home ownership, credit restoration, and AI and systems to help businesses. So he's going to put it out next year. So you guys get ready. And the only thing I can tell you from me being in the room, the government don't run the government. The business people run the government. And they run it because they see where the gap lies. And if it's hurting their businesses, the big corporations, Delta and all these, they got to come and make a change. And that's what this is about that Larry's doing. This is where I feel like that's why I did transformation from chaos to clarity. And we're doing home ownership down to financial, which we're on this week, you guys, is to help and serve more people like us and from us to you.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah, well, that's
a lot, right, Larry?
that is a lot. That is a lot.
So what do you think about everything that I said? The floor is yours now.
Well, well, I really appreciate you, coming and sharing that news with us, and knowing that.
And I'm going to share the business plan because I got to share it
Yes.
with 100 people, but I just say 50, and I need feedback, making sure from rural areas to education to mental health. All of these things are on here, you guys, where we can actually get an understanding on how we can be more successful and be more in that era of movement, of changing, because it's happening. I didn't even know, Larry, I don't know if you know this, but in the next 2 years, really, Wells Fargo going to implement it next year. They're taking away credit scores with home ownership. So it's going to be based upon your deposits and your bank accounts.
Okay.
So things are going cashless, and also not from just cashless is going to understanding how money works.
Yes. And that is definitely we're not learning those things in the home. And
Mhm.
so, and of course, our institutions for learning, that's not necessarily there to educate you in the financial arena anyway. Is really, I think, is really training you to fit in some corporate position or so, training you to be a worker bee.
Worker,
So,
yes. And see what's happening. A lot of people are not being workers right now, they're being entrepreneurs, but then they're
correct.
mismanaging. So even with, like, I had so much insight, you guys, with the kids is getting, what are those deals called? LENLI deals, or what are the deals called that people are getting when they come out of college? The deals when the corporations can pay for them with Nike, and they know they're going to be a professional.
Employee, yeah,
Yeah,
employee.
employee, yeah, a football player or whatever. So
Yes.
anyway, the kids are getting these $1 million at 12th grade, 11th grade. I mean, 500,000, 200,000, whatever they get. I don't know. But by the time they're beginning now to be a sophomore in college, before they go to professional football, they have all this IRS tax debt before the age of 20. So now they're going in with STEM programs to help those kids, this football. And if they get this money, let's teach them how to manage it and also invest in real estate.
Yes. And it's good. It's definitely good to get it as early as possible. Because a lot of times the what individuals are getting the training is after they already fall, after they
Yeah.
credit's already bad, or a business already failed, and now we want to try to repair them and get them back. And so why not, get it before they get the money in their hand, teach them
All
how
right.
to invest and
Mm-hmm.
invest for their future. So entrepreneurism, putting it back in the community and to help it grow. So I think it's a good thing is to get there early. And
Yeah.
so great.
And more so, you guys, they're putting also a STEM program in for kids from age 4 to 8, the elementary kids, so they can learn too.
Hmm.
And if they learn, guess what? They don't have to fail and go through all this thing at 30, because that's what happens. We really lack the knowledge a lot of times on finances. And I can just say I'm one of those.
Right.
I knew how to work. I just didn't know how to manage. And then I'm a giver. So, I mean, it happens. It happens to some of the greatest. You look at these football players and basketball players. I think I've seen this guy, Kevin McCall. He used to play basketball, and even John reached out to him on TikTok and helped him. But the guy is a genius, and he's sleeping in the back of an abandoned house. We got to say it's okay where you're at, and let's get up again and start, because we got to sometimes just prep ourselves, but why not help others too? So that's what this movement is about. And I'm proud of being a part of, a delegate on the Dream Forward movement with the Hope, John Bryant, and Operation Hope Foundation. So it's going to be a journey. And Larry, you guys are going to have a blueprint. So,
Okay.
and we need feedback, corporate
Yes.
feedback.
Yes. Well, definitely, we want to be a part of that, and we're going to participate. And it's good that again, we got you there to be a leader
Girl,
in
me
this
from
movement.
Alabama at a table of,
Who would think?
I was like, what? And then I'm in the room and I'm like, God will answer the desires of your heart, because he knows you're able to handle and help and serve. But just to be there, I'm like, wow, so this is normal that we go through in
Yeah.
business and aspects of life. But for you to dissect and look at every error down to the mental health on finances, on why we're wired like we are, because some of us, you guys, we're talking about finances this week, and I can only talk about me. I used to have an emotional roller coaster with finances. What I mean by that, if I'm feeling some type of way or somebody offended me, I'm going to go and shop. But
Oh
guess
boy,
what? When we shop,
shopping
that problem
therapy.
is still there.
Right. Yes.
And now
Yeah.
I don't shop 10 times as much. I just be like, nope. Because reality of it, and that's why this hair, like he said something about my hair. I'm I used to be one of those go to the hair shop every week, Larry. Like my
Oh
mom
yes.
still goes 68. She goes every Saturday. And I started thinking this year I'm gonna channel my internal. So it's not about how the hair look, how let me see what I look like and why I feel like I do. So when I start pulling back those layers, it helps you on finances. It helps you on understanding why you're doing what you're doing and when you're doing it. So finances do play a big part in our mindset and especially our culture
Hmm.
and trauma. I can just tell you trauma.
Yeah.
So it's all of it. Do you agree, Larry? What do you think about what I'm talking about? Because we're talking about transformation from chaos to clarity. So human
Yes.
intelligence, how do you see it?
Yes. And true. And the your mindset and your financial situation definitely play a part in that. But there's sometime I think individuals feel that like it's things they can't do without. It could be the cosmetics. It could be, sometimes I feel like I just have to take care of my, you know,
Oh, Larry, you go there. And it's football season. We're talking about you. You go there probably every week now, just
yeah. Well,
because
like it's a
football
little
season.
long now. It's a little long. It's it's about time. It's
Uh-huh.
but a matter of fact, sometimes when you're going through things, because I've been through that before. And
You
so
do.
I
So you
I
know
can
what I'm
take things out. I can take it out of the I have a budget for this or whatever. Even the haircuts, I can do without it because I know how to pull out the razor. And
Oh
so
gosh, you're military. Come on, Larry. You're not doing that. You got to go and hear the
I
barbershop
have
talk.
before. I
So
have
you
before.
guys, you and Jay told me that's where y'all get your business at is the barbershop. So
Yes,
that's where
yeah,
everybody talks lie and tell
that
stories and the
yes.
truth too a little bit.
You're talking
So
about a lot of literacy there at the barbershop. Literacy. You get the basics there. You get things not only just how you can say when a haircut and grooming, but anything from sports to footwear and gear and things like that. It's all there. It's all there,
you're
and
right.
sometimes they get pretty deep in there. And some guys, to let you know, I I'm doing this because I can't even afford a haircut this month. So this is what I have to do. you know, and and you,
But you
you
got
get
to
a lot of
take
advice if you bring that up.
right. But then sometimes look at the military. You guys when y'all in the woods for those weeks, you can't have that. You go with the bare necessities. So mindset is everything when it comes to finances. I'm just one of those. We're still learning, you guys, and it's a curve, it's a process, right? We have family that reach out to us, we have different things, but we got to understand what does it take for us to live and live here and
Yeah,
what's important.
yeah. And
And we can't save everybody. I was one of those, I'm thinking I can save everybody, but you cannot. You only can focus on what you can control because if their mindsets is here and your mindset is there and they're here, you're here, guess what, your mindset is going to go there on the same level of finances. And even if you're going through, I always say go to somebody who's higher, 10 times higher than you. Whether they tell you and hurt your feelings on finances, it's okay. You're
right,
going to remember it if it's hurting your feelings because they're telling you the truth. And we don't have to get yes every time when we need something. It's okay to get a no, but when somebody give you that yes, honor it and say, look, like John said, you need help. Everybody need help. Sometimes when you need that help, you go back and say, how do I fix this?
correct, correct. I'm gonna bring Charlene in here
Hey.
on the stage. How you doing, Charlene? And, yeah, it's and speaking of and
Hey,
we
John.
every now and then we get a chance to we're talking about going through some things. I know, Racynta, you've been through financial crisis and things of that sort.
Oh, absolutely. And still, trying to understand the curve because I have my own brokerage, going out, investing into businesses, not businesses, but personal development, AI and all this stuff. It can wear like you got to think we start our first year, we do our projections, then AI come out. Now you got to go invest into your business more.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another, either you could fail and stay here. Like a lot of people like, oh, I'm not worried about it. But me, I'm like, let me get outside and figure this out because it's something happening. And I'm at a table where it's happening. So it's crazy. So we have to evolve and we got to
Yes.
understand.
I want Charlene maybe to share one of those stories she heard yesterday. We actually had a mortgage clinic yesterday. And
Nice.
so this is the third one that we have had in 2 months. And so maybe 3 months, but it's the first one I was involved of it. I wasn't able to participate in the other. But we had over 300 people registered for a mortgage clinic. And these are all up and down the East Coast. There
Nice.
was 500 registered last month. And so out of the three clinics, about 1,000 homeowners there that are delinquent on their mortgage.
Mm-hmm.
And so some of those stories, I remember one that I didn't use this analogy with the person I was online, but I talked to someone today about the military analogy in reference to when things are getting bad, where, financially, you can set that mark time, and you just marking time and you're just letting things, simmer. And you're also getting beat up, while you're sitting there because you're not
The
moving.
mental part is the most crazy thing. And when we tell people and tell ourselves it's okay and
Right.
nothing's wrong, that's our biggest problem. We got to
Yeah.
go outside and say, look, I'm going through this. Look, I know you've been through this before. Tell me, how can I navigate?
Yes.
And
Yes. Well, I tell them not the mark time, but the double time.
yes,
So, so, yeah, double time. You get help get out of the situation. Yeah, yeah. Charlene, go ahead and share maybe a story or so that someone is
so
going
you
through.
guys did this yesterday, and well, I did it a few days. So you need to be doing this, Larry. I say every week, maybe.
Well,
So
it's not really. It's not really us.
look at man, looking like what? I'm just messing with you. You said a 500, a thousand. You got 1,000 people on this to talk about this,
It's a
right?
lot of organizing to get that to get it done. We couldn't do it alone, so it's a number of organizations that help it. But I'm quite we did a lot of things in person, during the last crisis, 2008 to 10, and then also during the pandemic, where we actually set up clinics at whether it's church, community centers, in the parking lot, and so you set up a system. But since the pandemic, we did a lot of things online now. And so actually, it's a lot to go into it, getting sponsors, putting the outreach out there, getting whoever, maybe the mortgage servicer involved, where they can reach out and do the marketing and branding and things of that sort, and setting up the platform, and then bringing in the housing counselors to play our part in that. And putting people in the room with the housing counselor, let them know the things that we can do to help them, and then we can follow through from there. But it's a lot that goes into it, and I would gladly participate or put on these types of workshops, but we need the support and partners to do that. And so if there are any partners out there wanted to get into the outreach to start helping homeowners, we're here for that. But we do need partners to make it happen.
Wow. So, Charlene, please tell us a little bit more about what's going on. Because I
Um,
want to hear.
yeah, absolutely. So what I got from the conversation for the individuals that I met with yesterday, it was a lot of reduction in income, loss of income. But what I really heard was it was the loss of income and the ability to get the income back. It seems to be the trend on the individuals that I was speaking with yesterday. It's like, all right, I lost my job, and one individual lost their job during COVID and still have not gained
Wow. During COVID?
during COVID. Another individual, um, same thing, reduction, but one that really struck me, and I had to tell the individual, I'm so proud of you because they were extremely young and they own their home. They happen to be the same age as my oldest son, and they were experiencing a hardship. Um, but I had to just give them that encouragement. One, I'm just so proud of you that you're 22 years old and you own your own home. So I really want to encourage you to fight to keep it. But just listening to the story in terms of the loss of income, the reduction of income, one individual was, they felt as if, and you can't take away from them if this is what they feel. They felt as if their age was negatively impacting them on finding another job. They were up, I'm not going to say up in age, the same age as my mother, 60, 67, 68 years old. And they just felt like,
Tell your mother you said that.
Like, that girl look good though. I tell her all the time, look, you look good. But the fact that they felt like their age was playing a role in them not being able to recoup the income or get the income, and now they're forced to get their Social Security, which they stated, that wasn't my intent, that wasn't my plan. I wanted to wait till I was older, even older, so I could get my Social Security. But anyways, when we talk about stories or whatever, I feel like that was the trend yesterday. It was a loss of income, and these individuals have not been able to regain the income, and they're fighting to sustain home ownership. But like I said, the one individual really stood out because I was just so proud of them to be a homeowner at 22 years old.
And for you guys to do that and for them to come in and ask for guidance, it just shows what we even just talked about with the Hope Foundation. Like, it's needed. And that's why Larry looked at me when I said weekly. Well, that's where we call it AI, but it's not AI, but the systems come in where you build that CRM up and you go and get those sponsors and say, look, there's a need for this. This is how many emails, people that's on this live, how could you help me help them? And let's build this team in order to help them. And if we need to just scream and shout or call, we need to do it, because really people are hurting and community is needed. And a lot of people, like the stories that I heard this week, like you're talking about, are amazing. And I'm like, wow, we need to get outside and help and talk more and tell more.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, Larry, we had a conversation, we had an orientation, and an individual is experiencing a hardship or what have you. And they didn't, and we've seen this before, they didn't act as swiftly as probably, they probably should have. And I feel like that's going to be a trend too. Because I mean, the vast majority of the room.
Their pride. Pride.
Well, that, and then what we see is that a lot of people are on forbearances right now. So you think I'm okay.
You're totally right.
Yeah,
and the mortgage company sometimes set you up for the forbearances, and then they say, "Oh, we need all this," and you're looking like, "What?" Like it happens. You look at Larry laughing at me.
I came out with that definition of what forbearance is not. Because
it's a setup.
Sometimes they think forbearance is forgiveness, but it's not.
Yes, it's not. It's not. No, and I can just tell you, I've been there. I've been there, and I accepted it. And then they come back and say, "Oh no, we're going to do X, Y, Z." Next thing you know, your stuff is in the newspaper, and let me go and find this money. And it's a setup. Larry's right. It's really, and a lot of times what they want us to do, just because a lot of people have these great mortgages, it's not the mortgages right now, you guys, by the way. It's our companies and it's our layoffs. It's the downsizing of the economy. What I mean by downsizing, it has to flatten out. This is what we call 1942 history, you guys. It repeats itself. Yeah. And once we realize that's where it's at, it's not the mortgages. It's more now of understanding. They want you to do a modification. They want to put your backs to the corner and do a modification in order to get that 7% interest rate now. A lot of them do.
Yeah. And if you do any of the modification or anything like that, it's going to go up. You're not going to get that whatever. We got people that's got 3.5%.
That's not necessary.
Yeah, and you got to talk to them. So I'm preaching because like I said, I've been there, and it's like, what? And then I try to help people, and even I have people that call me, and I try to tell them, no, write that appeal letter. Do this right here. I don't care what they put online. Write this, do this, and appeal it. And I can just tell you, FYI, I'm one that sued the mortgage company. I won. after.
I would have to say that I don't feel as if a forbearance is a setup. Well,
Yeah.
no. I don't necessarily feel that it's a setup. I feel that it's a tool. So when we talk about foreclosure, we talk about foreclosure prevention, and we look at the toolbox. It's one of the tools that is in the toolbox to prevent the individual from experiencing foreclosure. What I think is that the education needs to be there, that people truly need to understand what this product is and how this is going to either hinder or help. I really feel like I can't say that it's a setup because there's so many, even last night, there's so many probably without that tool may have already lost their asset, maybe have already, it's even worse.
Charlene, let's put them at a CRM. Let's get them together, because one thing I know how to do is modification stuff. A lot of times they feel I had a lady, she was at the end bricks, and I'm just going to tell you. She was an IRS lady. We crossed paths 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago. And she see me on social media. She reached out to me, and I went to her house. I sat at her house for 4 hours, called the mortgage company. What I realized she did, we think the less money we put on that modification, that, oh, they're going to drop our payments because we make $2,000. Well, you guys, you got to put a third of your income and consider that factor. If you can't qualify for that, they're going to say, no, we're not doing your modification. We're going to put it on the market and foreclose. And she was at the bricks maybe 4 or 5 days, and I saved it because I turned around and said, look, she had no knowledge. I'm a real estate broker. She sat on that phone for 4 hours, saved it. The only thing I can tell you, she never answered my call anymore because I need advice by financial. But I saved her house, and I look at it and I'm like, you know what? I did God's work, because filling out the information the right way will cause them to lose the home too.
Well, I think too.
Sometimes cause them to.
Well, I think that they confuse it with social service. So think about service.
Yes,
you think about trying to get Medicaid, and you think about trying to get SNAP benefits or what have you.
The lowest amount on there. Yeah.
The less you make, the more of a chance that you actually have of being approved. Well, a modification, because it's completely different. Now, I have to say, in layman's terms, you have to think about this. With the income that you make right now, would you have been able to purchase this property? Mm-hmm. That's what you have to ask yourself. And then if that answer is no, if you think you go to this investor and you say, hey, I make nothing, unfortunately, you show the investor that you're even more of a risk. So you try and give them these numbers to say I'm destitute, which in a lot of times, Larry, you and I know that, hey, it's almost where the person, you need to be destitute, because I'm not going to help you if I see you got $15,000 in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, go grab from that, try and make this work. Well, I think that the public really compares it to social service and thinks,
I agree.
The less that I tell this servicer, the better that it's going to be for me. And it's the complete opposite.
It's the opposite. And so then when they get that denial, if she didn't pick up that phone, and she said that dream that night, I came to her, she didn't pick up that phone and call me, you guys, she would have lost her home. And check this out. Her house was probably worth $520, and she only owed $200,000.
I mean, Larry, that's what you're seeing, right? That's what we're seeing. Yes. I mean, we're not, this ain't 2008.
Right.
No, it's not 2008. It's more of losing income and great mortgages. And we can't even afford. And that's what Hope Foundation was talking about. Rent, mortgages, everybody's struggling.
Yes.
In that area. And it is like, no, they're trying to pay and figure it out. So we need to be used to help.
I did have one caller yesterday, one guest that was in there that was probably in the best. I was like, why are you
out of 1,000 people?
Out of 1,000, this guy, he was less than 30 years old, and single, employed, and just calling for some information. And he'd owned his house for less than 3 years. And he said, I heard that there was a crisis out there, so I need to know what I should do to prepare And and what if I lost my job? What would I do? I said, you sure you're fully employed? Yeah.
So those are
And,
pre-planned.
yes. And I mean, he
Pre-planned.
works for one of the HBCUs as well.
Mhm.
But we love
Newly employed. So when he purchased a home, he was working someplace else because he just got out or whatever. Since then, he's employed with HBCU. And he said that he was thinking that maybe he would have been laid off, but he wasn't. But he said, like, what if I am laid off? You know, I'm making pretty good income here. What should I do? What should I prepare for? And I told him, yeah, financial literacy, you need to go ahead and get set up that, the emergency savings and things like that. Prepare. And so, but no, more need to come out. And so we give the classes, the workshops. We will start doing more post-purchase soon, where we educate them on what is a forbearance, what is a deed in lieu, what is a short sale, what is a pre-foreclosure sale. And so we go down the whole thing. And she talk about the waterfall and things like that, what the lenders and the services look at when they're evaluating whether you get a modification or not. And so that education piece is it that really need to be educated on that.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful for you. And it takes a lot of patience.
Correct.
And education is patience, but patience gains understanding. That's just my philosophy on it. Because if we don't teach to reach one, guess what? We just hold it as dear to us. What are we going to do with it? Sometimes it hurt us more by holding on to it than being happy and giving the information and knowledge away.
Yes.
So you guys to have 1,000, how many did y'all talk to? How long was the event yesterday on financial literacy?
We're on for 5 hours or 7 hours? We went on at 2.
5.
From 2 to 7. So it was 5 hours. And so that's supposed to kick off at 3, but the calls start coming in shortly after 2.
So was it on Zoom or was it on wow?
Yeah, it was sponsored by one of the major services in this area. And so it was on Zoom.
So you're in DC also, Charlene?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I'm located in Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, you know what?
Northern Virginia.
Nothing old girl in Alabama stuck in this little world.
Yes.
But I mean, it's important. And before you came on, Larry and I was talking about, even with the financial part, what you talked about, that's more of the mindset, like you said, when we talk about how much money we need to put the direct money, or sometimes I even tell people, look, you got to go up a little bit higher because this is what you owe. If you owe $20,000 back, guess what? They got to include that in that forbearance. So add that income to accommodate, to make it seem like whether you got it or not, it's going to save your house. You need to figure it out. Then we're going to go down the rabbit hole and figure out, well, can you go and add income? DoorDash, Uber Eats, it's too many areas now. Amazon, let's figure this part out.
Yes.
And like you said, pride to get us every time. It's the rise before the fall, I call it. Pride is a huge thing that stops us from financial things. But yeah,
I think when we talk about finances, it's very intimate. It's extremely intimate, and the vast majority of the time, and Larry, I'm not sure about you. The counseling that you've done over the years. Usually no one knows, like, they haven't discussed this with their family or even their friends. They just haven't, because we don't really discuss when we're doing really good. Sometimes money, especially in certain cultures, is not something that is
not something you talk about. And I had one time as home, it was over in Deer Creek, a nice little area. No, it was nice area. House was worth probably $400,000 here. And family, like you said, is sometimes the culture. They reached out. It was a Vietnamese family, and her husband supposedly had terminal cancer. And so immediately she called me, because I'm a friend of the family member. Look, I need to put the house on the market. We need to sell it, get rid of it, da. So I went over there and asked the questions, and I'm saying, okay, do you have cancer or you think you have cancer? He said, no, I just had a stroke, and I know that's how my dad died, and that's how da. And I'm like, what? And so I left him. I said, look, read this book, The Secret. The Secret is about unlocking those things, like you just mentioned, We got to see ourselves for where we at, not what happened 10 years ago, 5 years ago, not even 5 minutes ago. And he winds up, he's still living to this day, and he did not sell that home. So sometimes we got to go there and say, you know what, are we going here to talk and add the value? Or are we going here to, tell them, look, let's put it on the market. We want everybody to lose their houses or something like that. So that's not what we want to do. We want to add the education and let them know, look, let's help you fill out the paperwork right. How do you fill the paperwork out? And what else is needed? And then sometimes we got to coach them through mindset. We can't be with you all day when you're going through the struggle, but guess what? You can create those systems. Get up and pour into yourself. Meditation is great. Say these 10 things each morning before you get up. Bless yourself. Talk. How you talk to yourself is how you live with yourself. And that's what I believe. I don't have good days, you guys, period. A lot of times I got to coach myself early in the morning to excellent, maybe sometimes 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Larry, can you agree?
Yeah. I'm serious. I mean,
These days,
for a few years, you have to go to the meditation.
Meditation.
Before you pick up that phone. So, am I up at 5 or 6? I'm up. Do I answer my phone? No. I got to pray before I answer that phone.
I have to pray. I have to give this discernment. And I would tell you guys, sometimes when some of my clients are struggling so much, I always say, okay, I'm praying for you at 5 a.m. I've been in the gym by 6. I'm praying for you. I'm up at 5. Well, they'll get to texting me now at 5 o'clock. One called me one time at 5 and we didn't even close. And I'm like, are you serious? So now I just had to go back and like, no, I'm not answering that phone before, like Larry said, before 5. Just because I tell you I'm praying at 5 for you, that doesn't mean to reach out.
Please leave a message. I'll get back with you. No, that meditation, focusing, on yourself, of course, giving thanks and gratefulness and things of that sort, and focus on your long-term goals. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And then, then of course, I think physical exercise is very good. And then figure out what you need to do today to reach that goal that you have set.
Right.
If you're on a bicycle and you're going down a trail and you're watching those rocks in front of the bike, you're probably going to hit the stump and fall over. So you want to focus way ahead than where your tires and feet are. So keep your head and eyes, headed in the direction of your goal.
Everybody don't want to do that.
They want to look at the rocks, and they go trip and fall.
I was at the Hope Foundation. I was walking in, it was cold in Atlanta, and I was going into the hotel. Well, it was 6 a.m. because I was going to the maybe it was like 6:37. It's freezing, you guys. It was raining the night before it was freezing.
Yeah,
we're in Georgia, Atlanta. So I'm at the parking deck. And I'm really recording myself like day, not posting, but recording myself just like, oh, yeah, this is day 2, And this couple really was a daughter and a dad walk up and they're going back and forth. And I'm overhearing them. And he's like, no, it is cold out here. You can't tell me. And it was crazy. He was from Birmingham. He was a congressman from Birmingham. Shout out to Mr. John Hill. We became great friends, and he want me to come and see him in Birmingham. But anyway, he's like, see, there you go with that stuff that you do. And I was like, what are you saying? What did you tell? He said, I don't want to hear about a cold plunge. I don't want to hear about that mental stuff. It's cold out here. And then I looked up and I was like, you know what? It is cold, but you're right. You're telling him right, because I didn't know it was that cold until he said it was cold. And that's how the mind works, because I'm up here on my phone looking at my surroundings, making sure I'm safe. But when they got to going back and forth, I'm like, dang, it is cold out here. And you can see frost in front of you. And she said, you know what? That's the power of who you flock with. That's who you become.
Yes.
Because you didn't see cold when you got out. You saw a great thing coming in here, and he saw that the cold. Yes. So we talked and we became great friends. We shared numbers. But you're right. You're right. We got to pour into ourselves, you guys, before we can pour into others. And the value that we add to others, we can't be great to them until we're great to ourselves and see ourselves at that greatness. So it's important. Sometimes I don't want to talk to nobody today. As much as I talk.
Yeah, you got to get yourself right first, you
So,
know. Yeah.
Charlene, I'm just proud of what you and Larry are doing in the Virginia, DC area. I told Larry all those trainings, y'all. I come up, I take a flight. Lord knows my kids are old. I like being outside. I like going to see in different areas. My nephew actually lives up by Norfolk area downtown. So anytime you guys have those events, I would love to be a part. Even if they're virtual, like you just did, I can talk and help because I understand the concept. And a lot of time is they just don't know.
That part.
Correct. Yes. And
So
so,
what
and
was
you know,
your
and
story?
that's what we're doing here, you know, empowering our community. And we
Community.
get a lot of views. And so, you guys out there viewing on our social media platforms, and of course, go ahead and share this. Subscribe to our YouTube and also Facebook. And tonight we're on Instagram. So go ahead and subscribe, like, turn that notification on. So anytime we go live, you're going to be notified of this power that we're giving you. So we're here to share. We're going to continue to bring, amazing guests on. Racynta, you heard a lot about her. I gave you our bio last time. She is a powerhouse, I would tell
No,
you.
I'm not.
She's an author. Of course, she's an executive coach with John Maxwell. As
And that's where we met, you guys.
yes,
We
that's
met at
correct.
Maxwell. Yeah.
John Maxwell. John
We got
Maxwell.
stage time, and the only thing I can tell you, Larry got it going on. I'm like, Larry, I'm gonna be like you.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so, yeah, and then we wind up being on the same cohort at the leadership table. So,
yes,
yeah, so we're a part of unity, and
yeah,
we have like-minded beliefs.
yeah.
So, yeah,
And it's
but go
good
ahead if
to
you can
meet.
tell.
Yeah, well, it's good to meet like-minded people. And learning never ends. I think I'm dedicated to be a lifetime student. Continue to learn and be around, amazing people. And so some of that resentment is going to rub off. So I'm going to keep you close.
Like Racynta sometimes talk too much and don't like. No, it's like I have actually been through life and experiences, And so in like Larry, we discussed this the first session that we had. We have two more sessions, you guys. And this session is about financial literacy and understanding, and more so about understanding and coming to grips with where you're at and saying that it's okay to be where you're at, because in life, guys, we fail. And I've been one. I done failed several times, but guess what? I got back up and I figured it out. And I went and said, you know what? I'm going to find other people like-minded in order for us to help grow together. And that's why I look up to Larry, because when he told me at the age of, what was it, 46, you had the heart attack and you was just going. And that's when health became an issue. And I just took up time the last 2 years with my health. And I thank God I lost 60 pounds. And that's
Yes.
why that mindset, that mental health, that part of spiritual awareness, um, it works. And for Charlene to come here and talk about that, it's important for me, because when I don't get up and meditate or go to the gym, and I've been out of the gym for about 2 weeks now because I've been dealing with this hair thing because I cut my hair back off. I don't care nothing about hair, y'all. I just want to get back in the gym every day because it's getting to be a lot, you know.
And you,
I've been bald head for a real long time, so.
And so I'm just like, I was embraced most of this year, Larry, I tell you that. And then I did this TV hosting, so I go back and cut my hair off. Imposter syndrome, even the first time we did it, the session, it was imposter syndrome because I got stuck at the hair shop and I had to come home and figure it out and then get on screen. So we got to take those. That's why I said personal development, internal development, all those factors determine what type of leader we're going to be, who we're going to be, and why we're wired like we are. So we got to pull those layers back on mindset and say, how did we get here? It's okay to be here. Give yourself grace, start over, pick up, figure it out, and get with like-minded people. And especially with home ownership, you guys, Larry and I was talking, Charlene, before you came on here, which I'm making a post today. I haven't did that, but I was placed at the chair with John Bryant, Operation Hope, in order to help now communities on home ownership, AI, STEM programs. And for me to be at that table, I'm like, how did I get here? And only thing I can do is thank God, because he showed me the vision, and I just felt like I have to go and be impactful and help other people. And how could I help more? And for me to go to a conference on a scholarship where it's $5K for a ticket, like I told Larry, $5K, and I filled out the scholarship, and to now to be a part of a new movement on is the Dream Forward project with the John Bryant Hope Operation Hope Foundation. And what they're talking about, Charlene, is what we're talking about. It's geared towards, because Larry, I'm going to send over to him email, and Charlene, you can text me your email if you want to. I'm supposed to send this business plan out to 100 business people, or 100 people to understand where the gap lies. I need feedback by Tuesday to take back to John and build the organization to make sure we didn't cover all the tracks. Because what they're going to do is put more organization and delegate people like myself to go out and serve and understand the concept on financial literacy, on business aspect. And they're going to start with the kids, you guys. We're going to start with the kids aged 4 to 7. If we whip them into shape, guess what? We'll be fine at the age of 30. We won't be on the couch every time at the therapist saying, why are we like this? But sometimes we still wind up there, because I'm one. But anyway, we want to be able to help and give our authentic self and say it's okay where you're at financially, mentally. We're here. First Home Alliance is here. And Charlene, she's a jewel, because she just did, you said, talk to over, how many you talked to?
Yeah, I only talked to 13.
13 is a lot. But that's God's will. That's God's will, you guys. And Larry has did it. I heard Larry has helped over 5,000 in your speech?
For first to become first-time homebuyers, yes, over 5,000.
5,000, Larry. So my little 300 is nothing compared to your 5,000.
Well, we do have ability to touch a lot, and Charlene has been with me for 19 years, and so the bulk of the counseling, the experience. Yeah, she's only 21. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting on that 50 side.
Are you serious? So therefore, that's why Larry have you, because you got that balance system. So you know what I'm talking about when it comes to the mental side, the health wise, in order to pour into other. And you have the patience. I feel your patience in this screen. Like you have that Job patience. You're waiting, you're able, and you're gonna pull it all in and then spit it back to them where they understand it. And that's what
I definitely feel like what we all do and that's in this room today is God's work. I feel like, some people may disagree, but I feel like
absolutely God's work. I'm gonna give him his glory, y'all. I'm sorry. It's his work, because I just got at a table and I don't even know why I'm there or how I'm there. But when John said anybody in this room, some are on scholarships, but you're here because you're in the 1%, I realized God, all my work is about to be paid off. And it wasn't in vain, and it's great. Do we struggle with what we do? Because we carry those stories home and we wake up in the middle of the night like, oh, how could I help? Oh, I'm so tired. And I had to create, I don't know with you guys, I can ask you guys this part on financial when we go and help and bring those. I created a gratitude jar. Sometimes the struggle is so big for us. We got to pour them and put them over there. Pray over them early in the morning. I got a sticky note. I write out everything. Dear God, look, let them close. This one right here too. Deal with this. Southern's property. I'm tired. It's yours. And I leave it there. I leave it there. And I meditate with my candle. And it works. Whatever works spiritually, mentally, you guys do it. And contact a good circle and a good community to grow. Especially in home ownership.
Yes. And I think we're all where we're supposed to be. We just want to continue to, seek our purpose. And then you just, and some people may say, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Well, you probably need to just listen, just there. Listen, maybe listen, cut the noise out and just listen. because
Yeah,
it is there.
it's
Someone
there.
is there is talking. Most of the things that you need really is in arm's reach as well. And so,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
agree. I
yeah,
totally agree with
it's right
that. And a
there.
lot of times what we need is right in our hands. It's right
Yes,
there.
true,
You already have it.
true.
I call it now my genius level. So
Yes,
my genius level has me happy every day with the way I
yes,
serve and what I do.
yeah.
And when you get burnt out on systems, and it's nothing about, oh, I'm tired of working on this. No, God is actually shifting you and He's showing you. But like Larry said, you got to listen.
You got to listen. Just cut. You got to cut the noise off though,
Cut
because
the
there's
noise
a lot
out.
of noise. I tell you.
And right now,
Sometimes it's you making the noise. Sometimes it's, but you got to stop the noise.
and clear the table and
You
clear
got,
the
yes,
people
sir.
off. I do it all the time. They're like, oh, I eat by myself all the time. I'm so used to it. I do. I'm used to it. And then when you're around noise, you're like, oh, why? It's time for me to go be by myself again. And
Yes.
people don't think I'm that way, but I'm really that way in order to fill others up. If
Yeah.
I'm empty, I can't fill others up, right?
True.
So I isolate during those times, and I had to tell myself it's okay for me to feel like I feel. It's
Mhm.
okay for me to love like I love in my heart and see myself like I see myself, even if other people don't see you of that value. Say, okay, that's fine. You don't have to see it, but you're here about it. I'm sure that's what Larry did, because Larry, like, to create a team, and you're 19 years in. I've been doing it solo for so many years,
Yeah.
and I need to get a strong foundation team.
Yeah. Well, I'm still trying to build a larger, for us to grow, and we need a good foundation. And so, matter of fact, this week's lesson was on the law of significance. And so there's
Oh, I
significant
like that.
teams and leaders and things like that, but there's always a team. Where they say, whereas one good man, there's always a team of men.
Yes.
And also, they speak of whatever. And so, but no, you may only see one person, one head, but it's a whole body holding it up. So organizations, it may have a name on it, but if it wasn't for the team, it wouldn't have survived. And if it wasn't for Charlene and the team at First Home Alliance, I wouldn't be here. The organization wouldn't be here.
We've
And
had excellent.
Charlene do a lot of things I can't do.
Look, Charlene, just bring me one down here in Alabama like you, please.
I need more Charlene's, okay?
Well, we have been fortunate. We've gotten a lot of individuals who truly want to give back. Even with what, the economy, they still volunteer. They're still trying to.
Yeah, because Larry told me, like, you guys, y'all do so much. When he told me 20 years nonprofit and business executives that pour into the company to build, and they believed in his vision. And I'm like, that says a lot to me, Larry. And really, we wound up having a ministry conversation on the phone. I'm like, Larry, are you a preacher? He's like, no, I'm not.
My brother.
My brother is. And what's crazy is, for you, 19 years, I give you your flowers, because that's big. You saw his vision when he came out of, well, I don't know if it was out of military when, but for him to go and want to serve based upon what his mom put in him, that's huge.
I was on the other side. So, and I know we're real short on time, but before I met Larry, I was on the other side of mortgages, where you're not there to look and see who has money and who has good credit and who's going to sustain and who's not. You're just there to process. But as a processor, I could see it, because that was in the beginning with no doc, no ratios, that type of stuff. So you knew exactly where it was going, but that wasn't my job. When I met Larry and he told me his mission and I found out what he was doing, that gave me the opportunity to be in the forefront, to stop what, you could talk to somebody about their credit. Now you could talk to somebody about their reserves. On the other side, that's none of your business. It's none of your business. And you're not getting
matter if they can afford it or not. And I did a lot of consultation. The reason why my numbers would like that, I like to sit down and know you first and know where you're trying to go. And then also pour into you about what the importance of home ownership is. So I totally agree. I get that. I totally get like minds that grow together.
Yeah. Racynta, we're rolling on time.
No,
And
no,
I really appreciate.
Well, we're talking right
I
now.
love to. I'm glad you're here, and we're not gonna stop, even if it's 4 weeks. We're gonna bring you back again, another session, because you have no problem with educating and empowering our community. You have so much knowledge to share, and so we're going to remind our audience to come back again next week. Racynta is going to be here. We're going to talk about credit. We're going to talk about protection, and we're going to continue to talk about peace. Okay. And of course, it's all going to be around finance as well, finance stability. And so, of course, she's a coach of leaders of money and mindset. Continue to follow us on our social media platforms. Visit our website, First Home Alliance, for all upcoming events. And we look forward to seeing you again.
First time homebuyers class the 13th. So you can
On the
still
13th, check out our website. First time homebuyers in person. Come out there. All right.
I love it, you guys. Bye.
Okay, goodbye.
Okay, good evening. See you next week.
Colleen, look, I want to thank you. 19 years? That's powerful.
I know. Next year will be 20.